Yeah, man. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, people. It's Delvin Sadler, and this is another episode of Unscripted Anything Goes. Beautiful people, welcome, 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 welcome. Yeah, man. Unscripted Anything Goes. Delvin Sadler. Yeah, man. Yes, beautiful people. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Tonight we're gonna talk about guns. Guns tonight. Yeah, man. Big up yourself, the beautiful, the lovely, the talented Audrey Johnson. I love you, girl. Straight up to the queen herself, Jacinta Sadler. I love you. Yeah, man. Big up yourself, Susan. Delvin, love you. Same way too. Yeah, man. Straight up. Yeah, man. Straight up. Ala Kikan, big up yourself. Thanks for joining Unscripted Anything Goes. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. The lovely, the beautiful, straight up. See it there? Roach. Yeah, man. Antoinette Roach. I love you, girl. Delvin, love you with my heart, soul, and body. Thanks for joining Unscripted Anything Goes. Yeah, man. Are you for gun control? Yeah, gun control. It's a big debate that they have in America. Gun control. Yeah. And as you know, the other day there was a guy in Jamaica that he shot a security guard with his licensed firearm. You know what I mean? He shot a guy in Jamaica with his licensed firearm. Yeah, man, big up yourself, R.J. Johnson. Yeah, with his licensed firearm. And in America, a lot of people have the right to bear arms. They have the right to bear arms. It's their Second Amendment right to bear arms. So what says you? Are you for gun control? And in certain state, you have that right, but in certain state they don't have that right. Yeah. So are you for gun control? That is the topic tonight. Especially in America, are you for gun control? Yeah, man, Deanna Powell, thanks for joining. Unscripted, anything goes. I love you, girl. Thanks for joining. Yeah, man, a long time I know that girl, you know. Big up yourself, girl. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, straight up. So, are you for gun control? That is the subject matter for tonight. Here on Unscripted, anything goes. Beautiful people. Yeah. Last night's show was a nice show. Reggae music show. It was a nice show. I enjoyed doing it. You know? But today's topic, guns are no guns. And you know what guns do? Guns actually kill people. It takes life. It takes life. And you have to arm yourself with guns. And I'm gonna go from the medium.com, where this subject is concerned. So there's a lot of arguments out there for, are you for people to harm themselves or not to harm themselves? And as you know, that argument is in the United States of America. It's a very delicate subject. It's a very delicate subject. But the argument for gun control or non-gun control is found within the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. And I'm going to read the Second Amendment so you understand exactly what we're dealing with here. The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution protects the right of people to keep and bear arms and was adopted on December 15, 1791. Yeah, man. Big up yourself, Johnny. Thanks for joining Unscripted Anything Goes. So in 1791, it was adopted as a part of the first of the 10 amendment contained in the Bill of Rights. The Supreme Court of the United States has ruled that the right belongs to individual for self-defense, while also ruling that the right is not unlimited and does not prohibit common sense regulation on either firearm or similar devices. States and local government are limited to the same extent as the federal government from infringing on this right. So the state government and also the federal government, they're limited to the same extent as to the right of the bearer of the firearm, because it's their right. It's their amendment right. Yeah, man. I go and speak the truth to power. Yeah, man. Big up yourself, my brother. Yeah, man. Big up yourself. Yeah, man. Straight up. Also, the Second Amendment was based particularly. Listen to this part, because this is the big part of it. It says the Second Amendment was based particularly on the right to keep and bear arms in English common law and was influenced by the English Bill of Rights, 1689. Sir William Blackstone described this right as the auxiliary right, supporting the natural right of self-defense and resistance to oppression. Yeah. And the civil duty to act in concert in defense of the state. Yeah. So the right to have the arm is to be ready to defend the state at a ready's notice. The citizens must be ready to defend the state at ready's notice from the federal government. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Irvin Farris. Big up yourself, my brother. Thanks for joining. So as you know, like in America, they talk about school shootings, and from time to time you got people that comes in the room and they mention school shootings. So with regards to school shootings, are guns to be blamed? No. Young male range seems at last they're equally at fault. You know what I mean? Young males, the rage of a young male seems to at least equally at fault, and not the gun. Whether you can call it mental illness, toxic masculinity, or a sickness in our society, or culture of violence, it's an undeniable reality that the gun is not only at fault, but also the mentality of the person using the gun. Boys are learning that violence is power. A lot of them are readily involved in video games and a lot of things online that is very violent. Hence, boys are learning that violence is power. Yeah, that life is dispensable, and that if they aren't popular, athletic, strong, or smart, they have little value. So they need power. They need to be strong or athletic or smart to command such power. Hence, it's a sickness of the mind, not the gun. Not the gun. Straight up. Yes, we need more and better mental health care in the country, America, or across the world where guns are legalized. And we need increased access. But making this into solely a mental health problem isn't helpful. There has to be a balance now of whom the gun is given to and the mental health of the person that gets the gun. And if somebody were deemed mentally to get gun, but for some reason they pass all the background tests, but for some reason they snap, that is the cause of the bullet, because a gun does not fire itself. The person that pressed that trigger or put those bullets in that gun now fires it, has to be held accountable for it. And a person just don't kill somebody without reason. They could snap based upon some of the measures that I mentioned, or justifiable killing. In the case of school shootings, a lot of these people that does it are clearly mentally ill. A cultural a culture change, especially among young men, would be, we have to be careful what we tell our kids or what we let our kids expose themselves to. Because more and more, the violent aspect of things seems to be commonality and embraced by our kids. And as a result of it now, they act out those violent culture, those violent behavior based upon what they're exposed to. But cultural change takes time. And of course, it's really impossible to legislate, unlike successful gun control. So while we can say, yeah, we are going to now limit the access to who gets guns, the problem exists that if a person really wants to kill somebody, they will actually get the gun. They will get the gun and they will use it according to how they feel. What a problem. Yeah, man, big up yourselves, Daddy. See what you have to do. Alright. Every day them ball about gun crime, and yet they keep making more guns. For the solution, well, the guns are now searching for the families of the makers of gun. Mr. Smith, Mr. Remington, and Mr. Gatlin family. Sorry, black people lives are also at risk. A lot of black people are actually killing black people. A lot of black people are killing black people. Yeah, a lot of black people are actually killing black people. And they have this Black Lives Matter movement. And this Black Lives Matter movement only care about when police kill black people. That is their main political agenda, is when police kill black people, but police kill less black people. But more black people are responsible for the death of black people. But you never hear them state or protest or talked about that issue where more black people are actually using the gun to kill black people. In masses sometimes. Check out Chicago. That is where it lies. But in the aspect of looking at the situation, it is not the gun that is the problem. Because if they want to kill, then killing will be done. You see what I mean? So the gun is just an avenue that they use to take the life. Hence, there's an underlying effect for the usage of the gun. Problematic situations within the community. Lack of jobs. Yeah, lack of jobs. Access to drugs. Turf war, gang wars. All of these things are the underlying effect that cause the use of the gun as the means to which to kill. Delvin. And this is unscripted. Anything goes. So guns don't kill people. People is what kill people, not guns. If they don't use a gun, they'll use something else to do the killing. Like a hammer or a knife or even a bomb. Whatever they need to use, if it is at their disposal, they want to kill, they will actually use whatever is available to kill. So if the guns are not available, whatever is there, they will use to kill. So the gun is not the problem. It's the people that does the killing is the real problem. Delvin. And this is unscripted. Anything goes. With the exception of bombs, guns make it easier to kill, don't it? Yeah. Guns make it easier to kill, right? That is why the Second Amendment protects guns and not knives and hammer. Because the gun is so simple and easy to use. Because if you have a gun and you intend to kill somebody who has a gun, you think twice about killing that man with a gun. Or trying to use it on a man with a gun, because the same gun that you used to try to shoot the man, he now could use that to kill you back. I remember somebody telling me of a situation in England where somebody that I know and grew up with, he was in a club. He was in a club with his friends. And a set of guys now disrespected one of the guys within his surrounding. And the guy from the other side was trying to apologize to him and his friends. And he said, no. Them, the boy have to dead and him a disrespect and ray. And the argument now ensues, and because of his mental illness, instead of just accepting the sorry and move on, he now brandished a gun and shot the guy and killed him. So guess what? His friends were also armed, and they took out their guns and shot him and killed him. So both of them died. Both of them died when it never necessary to do so, because one failed to move away. So the gun is not the problem, because they both had guns. Both sides had guns. But the one who decided to shoot first thought that he would have been the victor, not realizing that the same gun that he was using to kill somebody else, another gun pointed at him, and he also lost his life. So the occupier of the gun is the problem and not the gun. Delvin, and this is Unscripted Anything Goes. Aya, the reservoir is mucky, so the tributaries will always be dirty. Aya, yeah man, a lot of head sickers about, yeah man, a lot of sickhead people are out there. And as I said before, no, it's mental illness. It's really mental illness. It's not easy for a man to kill a man, you know. You have to be sick to kill a man. That's why when you see people go on the battlefield in wars, you see they come back with post-traumatic stress disorder, because they're trained to kill. So when they're out there on the battlefield, they're murdering people. It's become them, the trained killer, the soldier. Kill or be killed. So to them, they're functioning in a common place when they're in that zone of killing or be killed. Hence, when they come back and now have to be regular citizens, they're affected by it, because they're no longer the killing machine. So they don't feel a part of the regular society. Hence, post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. While they're in the killing zone, they're at home. But when they're not, they become a vegetable. Mental illness. Yeah. Big up yourself, girlfriend. I love you. Andrea Bygrave. I love you. Thanks for joining. Unscripted Anything Goes. Yeah, man. Big up yourself. Come on. I love you, girl. Thanks for joining. Unscripted Anything Goes. So the gun is not the killer, or the gun is not responsible for death, but the person who is actually pulling the trigger is responsible for killing. So is that why people, where mass killings are so often, is it because of the gun? No, it's not because if somebody wants you dead and the gun is not available, if a baseball bat is available, they'll use that as the choice weapon to kill. It is easier to fire one bullet into the head of somebody than to use the baseball bat. That is why the gun now is the choice weapon to use, because it takes work with the baseball bat. But if somebody is to the point where they want you to die, and the baseball bat or a knife is the only weapon that is available, they will use that. There will always be objects that can be used as a weapon to kill or to actually destroy or maim. But it's a lot easier to use the gun. Would you rather confront a killer with a gun or with a baseball bat? So you have a baseball bat at your house, or a pickaxe stick, or a 2x4, and a armed killer comes in with a gun. An armed killer comes in with a gun, and your life is now on the line. The only thing that you can stop that man with, or that killer with, is a gun yourself. And the minute you brandish a gun, I guarantee you, he will now run for his life and forget that he had a gun. Because now you're going to challenge him just the same way as he would challenge you. And his intent is not to get challenged, but to now challenge you. That is why it's right for you to bear arms under the Constitution and under the law to actually defend yourself equally. Yeah, man, Delvin. Yeah, man. If you have a gun that is always available to you, but because you're in sane mind and you have it in your possession to only use as self-defense or to defend your property, your four corners of your house, yeah, you're trained to use it. A killer now comes to your house, or a person coming to rob your house or rape your wife. It is quite easy for you to now take out the killer, or that person with act of violence, if you have the same capability as he does. All right? Let's take a look at some stats here. Let's take a look at stats here. The number of murder victims in the United States of America, 2016. Let's take a look at the stats carefully. People that were killed or murdered, a lot of people were murdered, not killed. There are murders. These are the numbers of murder victims in the United States of America, 2016. They were killed with handguns. The number of people killed by handguns. Sorry, murdered. The number of people murdered by handguns. 7,115. 2016. The number of people murdered with a type of firearm not the standard, not stated. A different kind of firearm. Yep. Not aside from handguns. This could be high-powered rifles or whatever. 3,077. The number of people killed by knives or cutting instrument. 1,604. So clearly, the handgun is the gun of choice. Other weapons used that are not stated to kill. 903. Person that use personal weapon, that person with their personal weapon on them. Example, your hands, your fist, or your feet. Yep. 656 people were killed like that. With a blunt force object, such as an hammer or a club. Yep. 472. With a rifle. 374. With a shotgun. 262. With other types of gun that not mentioned, 186. With narcotics, 114. By fire, 107. By strangulation, 98. By asphyxiation, 91. By poison, 11. By drowning, these are murders we're talking about here now, 9. Or by an explosive device, 1. So clearly, the handgun is the choice weapon to use for murderers. People who murder people, handguns are the choice to use. So clearly, if people are using the handgun of choice to kill people, then the idea is to defend yourself against this weapon. Hence, if you had an handgun to defend yourself as well a citizen, then therefore you will be fully able to capable to defend yourself against the perpetrator. So, what I'm saying, the idea is that we should make every type of guns available to everyone, just because they could also get any one of these guns here that are available that you use to kill to actually defend yourself. Whatever the choice of weapon that is available that comes against you, you now have that choice of weapon to defend yourself. So why give the killers more options to use any of these mode of weapons that are available to kill if you don't have the same access? Straight up, a Delvin, and this is Unscripted Anything Goes. So gun control is also a violation of the People's Second Amendment. So if you confiscate everyone gun, that would be a violation of their Second Amendment rights in America. So would banning all guns outright, it would be a violation of their Second Amendment right if you have gun control, and it also would be also a violation if you ban all guns outright. So I know plenty of people would like this outcome where you ban all guns, but let's face it, it isn't even remotely possible to do that, because the Constitution, the Second Amendment, protects people having their guns. It's illegal to commit fraud or incite a riot or lie to the police officer, but these aren't violation of the First Amendment protection or freedom of speech. Yeah, man, big up yourself, First Lady D-Mac. I love you, girl. Thanks for joining Unscripted Anything Goes. The Second Amendment doesn't give everyone an absolute right to every kind of weapon, no matter or for what forever. We don't allow grenade launchers or fully automatic weapon. It doesn't allow for that. We can certainly limit military-style rifles in number, or ensure everyone owning one is really of sound mind without infringement of the right of people to keep or to bear arms. Straight up, gun control just won't work. Absolutely won't work. Big up yourself, Rose Miller. Thanks for joining Unscripted Anything Goes. So gun control won't work. But if clearly gun control don't work, countries with stricter gun control than the United States nearly have far fewer gun deaths and lower murder rate. The exception is generally a place where government is so inefficient they could call a failed state. Those governments don't have the right to actually, the people or the citizens are not readily available to defend the citizens because they don't have guns. But in America, they must have guns, because anyone can actually plan people to actually try to take over the states. That's why the people must have guns, to actually defend the state by all means necessary. All right. In places where strict gun control are, there's high level of gun violence. Yeah, man. Good evening again, RJ. Yeah. In states where there's strict gun control, there's high level of gun violence. Example, Chicago or DC. Guns are easily obtained by transported from neighboring states like Michigan and Indiana, or West Virginia or Virginia, with some of the most relaxed restriction on earth. Straight up. That is why national legislation is needed. And as long as we rely on piecemeal attempt by localities, guns will find their ways across the border. So if in your state you choose not to go with the federal Second Amendment right, and you ban guns in your state, chances are criminal element now will now go across state lines to bring guns in. And as a result of them having the gun, turf wars you'll find happen in those states that has the control, because now everybody don't have guns, so they don't have to worry about being challenged. All they do is to bring illegal guns across state lines, and the gangs now will gang out each other. So you find that the people with illegal guns now start to murder each other. So a national legislation on gun control does work, or gun access does work based upon the Second Amendment. When was the last time someone commit a crime in a state that everybody have guns? Them have machine gun, they have rocket launcher, anything them have. No one will even that they mention when was the last time someone committed a crime in a state that has bazookas, fully automatic machine guns, or rocket launchers? It is very hard for you to penetrate those states because everybody have it. So that people are now respectful of each other because they know that they will be challenged. So it works to have guns. It works to have it because if everybody have it, nobody will challenge another person. So crime rate in these spaces are very low. Take every gun and just fight first, fist to fist. That won't happen. That won't happen. That won't happen. So criminal elements only challenge people that they deem not to have guns. But if they know that everybody have guns, I can guarantee you they will not challenge you. Because the same access that you have to the guns or the right to fire the trigger, they will actually return fire back to you. So you won't fire. You'll find that a lot of these crimes that you see they commit in states that have restrictions on guns. Hence, people are not afraid to be challenged. Yeah, that is the case. You give every man a gun now. Every man have the right, as long as you have mental sound mind, to have a gun. And you see what happens? Crime rate will actually go down. Because all of the people who has gun will now be afraid that they would also lose their life. The only reason why people in places now use gun to commit robberies and crime is because there's gun control. So chances are when you go to rob somebody or to actually kill somebody, it's because they don't have the same means to defend themselves. But if they had equal means to defend themselves, like you have the right to kill, you would think twice. You would think twice. Yeah. The same way that gun is seen as a weapon to kill people. It's the same way if guns are not available, other things are available. Cars kills a lot of people. A lot of people crash car and kill people. So should cars be banned? A lot of people use cars to kill people. Yeah. So should cars be banned? Yeah. Cars aren't designed to kill people, but they do kill people because people use them to kill people. Yeah, man. So should cars be banned? The cars aren't designed to kill people, but they do. And because of that, they are strictly... Hold on. Yep, they are strictly regulated. If only we regulate guns and gun owners half as carefully as we do regulate cars and car driver. I came, I see, and I shoot. Yeah. So the states track every vehicle sale carefully. All drivers must take a written and field test to get a license, right? Which they must renew periodically. It can be suspended or revoked. Several mental illness and certain criminal offenses can prevent you from getting a license, right? Cars themselves are also regulated heavily with VIN numbers, mandatory insurance, license plate, and safety requirements. The result? Dramatic reduction or reduce auto fatalities. Straight up. As of 2015, more Americans are killed by guns than they are killed by car crashes. Surprise? The state's leading and trends are mainly those with lack gun control. So what happened is, what they're trying to say, because they know that the car can become an object or a weapon to kill. They regulate it in all aspects. You know who own the car. You make sure that they can drive a car. You make sure that they have a license. You make sure that they have insurance. You make sure that the vehicle has to have a safety to it. You make sure that you get the driver's license renewed, so you know that the person now is constantly, them don't have a suspended driver's license or whatever. So therefore, you check in their driver's history to make sure that they're not speeding. What they're saying is the same aspect that must be dealt with the gun, because the car itself now, the person driving the vehicle is the person who will be responsible for preventing an accident or preventing the killing of life. Therefore, you regulate it to make sure that the car and the person is actually safe to function on the street. It's the same way with the gun control, with guns, where you now must make sure that you are not banning the gun, but the guns are actually good guns, and that the people who are fired are in good mental state. So you have them have a register with the person mental health illness, their medical history, their safety history. That means they don't have any criminal records and all of these things. And if they deemed or passed the regulations, then they're now able to carry a firearm. It's the same way that you regulate the car, you can also regulate the gun and the person who is driving the car and the person who owns the gun. Hence, you would now have a reduction in killing of guns, because now everybody now would have access to guns based upon the meeting of the regulations to attain one. And the same safety or reduction in killing of people using car. It's the same way now you'd have reduction of killing with people owning guns. This is Unscripted at Delvin, and it's anything goes. It's all about mental illness. It's all about mental illness. Yep. Is it all about mental illness? Yes, it's all about mental illness. Most people with mental illness aren't violent. If you don't have mental illness, then you're not violent. You function normally in society. In fact, they are as a group more likely to be victims of crimes and perpetrators. So the people who are normally sane, they are now without a gun, they will now become victims to people who are of insane mind, or people now who are of minds with criminal intent. A criminal don't go and rob criminal. Criminal go to kill criminal and take from criminal. But the mind of a criminal will go and rob somebody who don't have the means to defend themselves. But if you had the means to defend yourself, the normal sane mind with a regulated gun, and the criminal knows that everybody has it, then the criminal would refrain from killing or refrain from doing criminal work and start to do what you do, which is work for what you own, and they would work for what they own, because it makes sense. It makes no sense to challenge a person with a gun who has a gun. So the mentally ill person, they are the ones that you have to now check for and make sure that guns don't get into their hands. Most mass shooters are clearly mentally disturbed. The people who kill people in masses are mentally disturbed. But focusing on people with mental illness is likely to increase stigma and prevent, not encourage, treatment and access to services. And the fact is, mental health professionals already have the power to hospitalize dangerous people. So if they're dangerous enough that they shouldn't be in society, or they should be confined in an hospital, that then the professional will actually take them off the street. So you have to let the professional do their jobs and have the regular people now have access to actually ready to defend themselves, just in case these mental people do get access to guns. So the state should could certainly examine those laws to see if they're working, to make sure that mental illness people, they don't have guns, but the right people of sane mind have guns. No gunman wants to be challenged. None. I'm sorry about that. Psychiatric evaluation for gun owners makes sense and might be one way that the law authorities can address mental health. So every person that gets a gun should get a psychological assessment. So if you get everyone that wants a gun psychoanalyzed before issuing them a gun, that could be a solution that they can use. That would be a social. That means that you don't put guns into people that are sick. But to prevent people from getting access to guns, and now a person with sick can actually go across the lines of states and get guns and bring back without not being psychoanalyzed, then they can freely go around and kill people. And the people now who have mental sane mind, who could have the gun to now defend themselves, don't have access to it because, the law don't allow them to have it. That is kind of stupid. Big up yourself, Earl. Hey, my brother. Thanks for joining Unscripted Anything Goes. I love you, my brother. Yeah. When people come in contact with the mental health system because they present a danger to themselves and others, determining whether they have firearms or whether they can safely possess them should be a routine. So therefore, if everybody who wants a gun now get evaluated, and based upon that psychoanalyzation, then you're deemed mentally stable, then you can have a gun. But if you've got deemed to be unstable mentally, you don't get a gun. Then you're keeping the guns out of the sick people. Yeah, man, big up yourself. You're keeping the guns out of the sick people. Keep in mind that mental illness is largely a state issue with little to federal involvement. And the civil rights of others trumps that of the gun owner. Locking up everyone with a psychiatric illness and a bad attitude not only doesn't work, and really and truly it is a extremely expensive thing to do if you try to lock up everybody that has psychological problems, psychiatric problems. So therefore what you have to do is that they can be a regular contributors in society but don't have access to guns. But the people now who in society that are stable should have the access to guns to actually defend themselves, just in case these psychotic, mentally ill people get access to a gun and start shooting. So for you, who is a regular member of society, and you're in a country that has gun control, or a state that don't have gun control, or your society now is plagued, or your community is plagued with violence, you should also have a gun to defend yourself from criminals. If criminals that lives around you have guns, and your law prevents you from having guns to defend yourself, you should be having guns to defend yourself against criminal elements. Because if you have a baseball bat or a knife or a club, that won't defend you against a person that has a gun. So the mere fact that the criminal elements have guns and you who are living as regular citizens don't have guns, at any given point, your possessions can be taken, and not only that, your life could be taken. So you need a gun to defend yourself against criminal elements. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Michael Asante. Yeah, man, straight up, real words. Yeah, man. Because look, no one is going to stop you from defending yourself. You're not going to just make a person kill you. If it was just a fist-to-fist thing or a knife-to-knife thing, then you can grab a knife the same way that person has a knife. But if that person has a gun, you're probably going to have to beg them for your life. Beg them for your life and give away your possessions. But if you had the same mechanism to defend yourself, the same as they do, then you're in a situation where your society is plagued with crime, then you also need a gun to defend yourself. A gun or even two for own protection is clearly a constitutional right in the United States and should be a constitutional right where you live if your place is infected with criminal. But stockpiling multiple automatic firearm is obviously not necessary for defending yourself from criminal. You don't need a whole heap of gun. Yeah, a one or two is good. Straight up. Banning gun is like banning drugs. If you ban guns, it's like you're banning drugs. If you ban people from taking drugs, Listen carefully now. If you ban people, the drug addict, if you ban people from taking drugs and they're drug addicts, yep, they will still find a way to get the drugs. They will still find a way to go and get drugs. You ban criminals from getting guns. Criminal mentality is still in their heads, and the pursuit of criminality is still in their heads. So they will still find a way to get guns. Believe it or not. So banning drugs is the same way as banning guns. Drugs are not gun. Drugs are much easier to produce and to smuggle. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. My throat is dry. So if guns are in a states, let's take the drugs for example. Let's say drugs is banned, or most places illegal drugs are banned where you're living. Somebody will go to where the drugs is and they will smuggle it into where you live. And you will be able to buy it from the illegal black market, and you get your drugs to feed your addiction because you're addicted to drugs. It's the same way that the gunman will get his gun to commit criminality, because somebody will now go out of the states or go where there's no, where guns are made, and bringing guns illegal, bringing guns from cross state line, so that the criminal can have access to the guns to do their criminality. But if everybody now was legalized to have the gun, the person with the criminal mind or intent, would refrain from actually pursuing criminality, because the person that they intend to rob it or challenge would have the same firepower and ammunition as them. Straight up. Look at Jamaica, for example. No guns are made in Jamaica, but there's a lot of criminality in Jamaica. So where are these guns coming from, and when they were never made on Jamaican soil? Right? The same way the drugs come into the country, the same way the guns are coming into the country. Right? Because there's a source there that wants to consume drugs. Hence, they bring the drugs in from outside of Jamaica and give it to the people that are addicted to it, a market for it. The same way guns are there now. They bring the guns in to sell to criminals and give to criminals to kill people. The same way. But if in a country like Jamaica now, everybody could have guns, you get rid of crime easily. Because no gunman at Jamaica want to die. None. None of them. None of them want to die. Yeah, man, none of them want to die. Straight up, unscripted. You see it? Anything goes. The only thing that you can stop a criminal with, a bad guy with gun, is a good guy with a gun. The only thing that can stop a criminal bad man with a gun is a good guy that is not a criminal but has a gun. Think about it carefully, though. Yeah. If you are a good man working hard in your house, you go to work every day, you pay your taxes. You go to work, you pay your taxes. Yep. Legally, you have a gun. Yep. And a gunman, a bad man that has a gun, that now wants to come and rob you in your house of your possessions that you work hard for. And the minute he comes through the door or comes through the window, yeah, you now defend your property with your illegal firearm by nailing him with one of those gunshots. Yeah. In self-defense of you and your family. Yeah. It's a good man taking out a bad man. That will be a less bad man on planet Earth. Then his friends will know, you know what? Yeah, maybe I need to change my ways. Because good men are taking out bad men with gun. Straight up. So there's no reason to have gun controls. What you must have is access of sound mental mind to possess a gun. And if so, then you are capable to defend yourself as a good person, when required and when needed, as a self-defense mechanism against evil and criminal intent person that has a gun. Straight up. Yeah, fun. So remember that, people, when you're if you're in a society that has gun control, that's a lot of criminality will exist within that society. Criminal elements will flourish in those society because these gunmen are not afraid to be challenged. But if everybody had guns, crime will go right down because no one wants to die, because they know the person that they would try to rob or kill has the same access to firearm as they do, and they would actually defend themselves. Hence, yeah, there should not be gun controls within society. There should be control of mental illness, people that are sick, so that they don't get guns. But the people who are now law-abiding, sane-minded people should have equal and full access to guns to defend themselves and their family whenever required. Because if they have it to defend their family and themselves as a self-defense mechanism, and the gunman knows that everybody that he will encounter will quite most possibly have a gun, then I can guarantee you he will not take the chance of losing his life. Yeah, man, licensed gun holders like myself are more responsible. Yeah, they're responsible. They're sane-minded people, hard-working people that have it to defend what they work hard for, or to defend themselves and their family. However, criminal-minded people, if you don't have a licensed firearm, they will now come to try to take what you work for, or even take your life, because they know chances are you will not be able to defend yourself against the gun, because you might have access to a knife or a club or a baseball bat, but that cannot challenge the gun that he has. Hence, Yeah, they will wreak havoc of criminal intentions within the society that they are without fear. But if everybody had the right now to gain access to it, those have seen mine, yeah, crime and violence will go down. Now people will start to work hard to achieve things rather than to now go to rob and kill people to take their things. Because they themselves will now be challenged. And nobody wants to lose their life. Nobody wants to lose their life. Yeah. I was watching a little thing on the YouTube the other day, and they show people with guns actually running away from man firing guns at them. People with guns that are gunmen I'm talking about, running away from men who are challenging them now, firing back gunshot at them. Because you know why they're running? Because they don't want to lose their life. They don't want to lose their life. So they're running because they want to kill people, but they don't intend that people is going to return shot back at them. So when people start to return shot at them now, they realize that people are now serious about defending their lives. Yeah. People are now serious about defending their life because they're fighting for their life as they are. So guess what? They have to now take for themselves. Take for themselves. Yeah. Yeah, 90% of illegal firearms comes from states. Yeah, 5% are from cottages, break-ins. That's my stats though. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, most of the time, yeah, most of the time, states that have legal open carry, yeah, if your states have guns restriction, no, people not just go over them state, they go buy gun and then, and then bring it back. That's what happened. Yeah, like Jamaica now. Jamaica is a country that don't have a gun factory. They don't have a gun factory. They don't make guns in Jamaica. Right? But there's so many guns down there. There's reason why they're there, because a lot of criminals are there. So if criminals are there, then therefore people will smuggle guns in to the country to give to criminals so that they can do their criminal work. In a state like Jamaica now, everybody down there need to have gun. Everybody need to have gun. Because if so much people who are now sick people, gunmen, that has gun, and you who are normally law-abiding citizens going to your work, doing your own things, you should have a means to defend yourself against these criminal elements. Yeah. And I bet you say crime and violence in Jamaica would have go down. Fast. If them said every citizens have the right to actually bear arms. If them say everybody at Jamaica have the right to bear arms and they're gonna provide gun to everybody, I can guarantee you everybody will behave them damn self. Cause nobody want to die. Nobody want to die. Yeah, man, straight up. Or a gun show in the States. Yeah. Have you ever watched how Jamaican custom inspect a barrel? No, I've never been to the custom to where barrels are concerned still. I never really watch it. But I can bet that it's a loosey-goosey kind of a system they have down there. Yeah. They only inspect the barrels halfway to the bottom. Can you imagine how many guns come in? Oh, wow. What a problem. Yeah. Big up yourself, Yvonne Tarp. I love you, girl. Thanks for joining Unscripted Anything Goes. You're right about that, my brother. If you're going to inspect a barrel, then you have to take everything outside the barrel, inspect the goods that are in the barrel, and inspect the barrel itself. But if they're just taking out one or half of the items out of the barrel and then restock the barrel, then therefore chances are things that probably on the bottom of the barrel will be missed. Yeah. That is how you inspect anything. You have to inspect it in its totality, including the barrel itself or the luggage. You have to inspect every aspect of it. Yeah, man. So the bottom line, people, gun control, rubbish. Rubbish. It is a rubbish and nonsense. Everyone should, yes, everyone should have the right to actually defend themselves against criminal element. Because if everyone have equal access to that, then crime and violence will be down. I can guarantee you that. No one wants to die. Jamaica has the same gun rights as Florida. You have the right to defend yourself and your property. I can bet you do. But I don't think everybody have the right to actually get a gun down there. They're gonna probably actually ask you for so much things to provide property ownership, provide how much money you have in the bank. You know what I mean? I say, if you don't have a criminal record, no criminal record, you have sound mind. Yeah, you have sound mind psychologically from a psychological point of view. You have a sound mind. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you own 5 cents or you own 50 acres of land. Yeah, you should be able to gain access to a firearm to defend yourself by all means necessary. Yeah. You know what I mean? The kind of draconian red tape that you would have to go through to get a license in Jamaica. To me, that is just ridiculous. That's gun control. Because down to the little boy at Jamaica will pop out a gun and bust your head with it. Because it's quick and easy for him to get it from one of his gangster cronies. Him know him gangster brother have him gun and just take it up and kill you. But if he knows that you have one legally, him not gonna do that. Him not gonna do that. Yeah, man. I have friends in Jamaica who have their license firearm, but they have to own something. They have to own something. They have to own something that they're protecting. What I am saying is that you don't have to own something for somebody who want to kill you. No. Like in the States, they will have, what you call it now? No gun control. Down to the liquor pit and them can get gun. That is the right thing. So if somebody now trying to abduct a little child, he have to think carefully about that abduction. Because the little pitney have him thing when pop off and wet you up. You understand what I say? So a criminal or a sex predator, yeah, what ownership have to do with anything than to have the mode or the means to defend yourself. Once you have sound mind. Yeah? Ownership not have nothing to do with it. You're a citizen, a law-abiding citizen, yeah, of sound mind. That should be good enough for you to have one. Yeah, man, straight up. Unscripted, anything goes. This is our show. Yeah, man, people, we're gonna have to wrap up the show now. So remember, I'm telling you, gun control is nonsense. The law should allow any and everyone to gain access to it to defend yourself by all means necessary against anyone that will come against you or challenge you in spite of, not because of. You should have it to defend yourself. Yeah, man, people, that's the lecture for tonight, you know? So remember, we're going to be here tomorrow again at 7 o'clock. Yep. So remember to embrace conservative values. We don't have badges nor guns, and we're tax-paying citizens. Therefore, we must support the police. Until tomorrow, Delvin is telling you, I love you. Yeah, man. Bye-bye.